Hello everyone, my name is Matt and welcome back to another video. In this video, I'm going to be showing you part 2 of my season's lesson. This lesson is focused on activities the students can do in each season. The original lesson I made was designed for grades 1 and 2, and you could really teach it to grade 3 just depending on their level. But this lesson is really designed for grade 2 or 3. I wouldn't suggest teaching this to grade 1 unless your students are really good at English, because there are 2 activities for each season. So that's 8 different new phrases they need to learn, and a few of them might be easy, but I think for grade 1 it might just be a little bit too much. So I really suggest teaching this to grade 2 or grade 3 or even grade 4. So I really hope you guys enjoy this video. If you like this lesson, don't forget you can go to the link in the video description below and download it in minutes, or you can go to my Taobao store and you can find it there. You can also purchase this lesson and the part 1 lesson together as a bundle and get it a bit cheaper. So I really hope you guys enjoy this. If you do, don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe to my channel if you're not already. And if you have any questions, please leave a comment below. All right, hope you enjoy this. Let's get right into it. All right, let's take a look at this PowerPoint lesson. So again, this is a run through. I'm not going to go through in extreme detail every slide. I just want to give you a look at what it looks like, just in case, again, you want to recreate this lesson yourself, or for those of you who want to purchase the lesson, I want to show every slide so people know what they are buying. All right, so in the beginning of the lesson, of course, I have my rules. Got to set the groundwork for classroom expectations. The classroom management is so important for large classes, which is what this lesson is designed for. So yeah, warm up. Generally for this age group, I'll just ask a few questions. And I really rely on the review as part of the warm up, just because, you know, they need to see what was in the previous week to refresh their memory, and so they actually learn it. So obviously this is a part 2 lesson, so the main review is just going to be the previous week or the previous 2 weeks, depending on how long it took you to get through this previous lesson. For my grade 2s, I see them twice a week, so I will generally I teach them the content the first day, and if I don't get through it, then I'll review it and complete the lesson on the second day. If I do get through it, then I will change the second PowerPoint, change the games, change the activities, so that they're reviewing and they're getting a little bit extra out of it, but I'm not like teaching something totally new. If I find that the lesson was too easy, then I will I'll change it a bit or add some language, but generally I'm just going to be using the time in the second lesson to get them to really remember it, get them to actually practice it, because in the first lesson you might not have had a lot of time to have them practice it fully. Not every single student got a chance to practice, so I try to use the second lesson as a chance for that. So since this is the second lesson, this is a part 2 lesson, this would probably be like the third class. So I would teach it, then the second lesson, if it's the same week especially, I will review, and then, like I said, get them to practice it, maybe add a little bit of language before I start introducing this new stuff, because this is going to be a little bit harder. Now this lesson is designed, the original lesson was designed for grade 1 and grade 2. You could also use it in grade 3. This lesson I'm going to show you, I think, is more suitable for grade 2, grade 3, grade 4, even if your students are at a lower level. There's just going to be a lot of vocabulary here that could be too difficult for grade 1. In my school, my grade 1s are pretty good, but I probably would not teach this many words to grade 1. My grade 2s could definitely handle it. It'll take them, 2 classes to learn all the words and stuff, but, I think it's definitely something they could handle. And my philosophy with my teaching is, introduce stuff, see what they know, let them practice, and then continuously review it as part of your review for, a month. So it might take them some time to remember all these vocabulary words, but, it takes people years. I'm a native speaker of English, and how long do you think it took me to remember all of these vocabulary words when I was a kid, or all these verbs that go with it? A while. You have to hear it a bunch of times. So don't expect your students to learn something in the first week that you show it to them. Don't expect your students to be able to do everything so quickly. Let them learn it over time. That's why you need to make sure you're reviewing. All right. So obviously there were 8 words here after I introduced them the way that I just did. For each one here, I am, like for example here, I will teach an action as well. So like I said, this is not a walkthrough, so I'm not going to go through and explain exactly, but essentially when I'm showing something new like this, I present the language in their first language, and then I see if they know it, And then I call on some students to see if they know it. If they do, great job, give them a point or something. Show them what the actual thing is if they didn't know. Say it a few times and teach an action. I teach an action. So build a snowman. Teach an action for each one. Okay, and then right after that, you're going to go through and see if they remember. So go to the first one and have students raise their hand to tell you what it is. Okay, and do that for each one. So they just saw them all. Now you need to review it. Okay, and then to further that, let's make it a little more interesting again. So let's see if they can actually call them out again. So call on random students to tell you what they are. And let's say they choose fly a kite. They click fly. Oops, sorry about that. You have to click the picture, not the question mark. Oops, that did not work. What is happening? Oh, I see. When I move my thing over it, I need to make sure that the mouse turns into that. See how it changes there? It's black. And then here it changes like that. You have to make sure it changes like that. So in my class, it's just a touch screen, so it probably won't matter. But all right, so they say fly a kite. I click it. They get 2 points. Okay, so again, make sure it turns white. Next student says build a snowman. All right, it's 3 points. Go swimming, and so on. So each one has a point value here. It's strange that this PowerPoint version is causing. I think maybe just go toward the edge of it and it's fine. Anyway, this is a chance for the kids to get some points, get excited, and say the vocabulary again. So they can get points. Ooh, 7 points. All right, so this is something I like to do. I do it with all my grades now. They really like it. It just makes it interesting, and I'll just go back so you can see. So you can do it in any order. They don't know what they are, so you're just clicking randomly, right? They're just going to choose whichever one they want, and it's programmed to present them with points. So they really like it, and I find that if it's something which draws their attention, they'll really be thinking. That's the kind of stuff you want in your class because they'll really find it engaging, and that's what you want, especially with little kids. So the next game is a TPR action game. I love this type of game for large classes. Bring up students to the front. You push the button so that one of them flashes. The kids in the front can't see it. They're facing the seated students. The seated students do the action that you taught them, quietly. And then the students, the 4 or however many students you have in the front from each team, whoever says the vocabulary of the action the seated students are doing first will get points. All right, so it's just a great way to get the whole class involved, and they're utilizing the actions you taught them. They're getting this TPR so they can remember the word. After the people in the front say it, they get a point. The whole class should say it. Okay, so it's just a fun activity. Works like a charm. Students absolutely love it. I don't care if they're grade 1, 2, 3, 4, even grade 5 will like it. Grade 6, if you play it every once in a while, they'll like it. They'll like it as well. All right, so let's go to the next part of the lesson. All right, so I'm always trying to think of new ways to teach the lesson, new ways, new games and activities, something which they'll find interesting, which I can also teach them some new vocabulary during it. So in this game, I'm teaching them the word left and right at the same time that they're going to play the game. So first I'll just show the Chinese left and right, and they need to raise their hand and tell me how to say it in English. Okay, so I'll call on students to tell me. If they don't know, you can just tell them and drill it a few times. But I think some of my students in grade 2, in a 45 student class, there are going to be a few that know. And so the way the game works is, first drill it a few times. Then the way it works is you present them with 2 vocabulary words, and it's like a reading game, right? So the whole class can play, or you can invite individual students to play, and you show them one of the vocabulary words written out, right? And the first student to say whether or not what's written on the top is the left flashcard or the right flashcard, whoever says it first can get points for their team. So you're really just getting them used to saying left and right really, really, really quickly, right? So they need to see it. They say it should be obviously right? And so they say right. Okay, you give them a point, and then the whole class says fly a kite. Good job, next one. Okay, so, what are they? Okay, the first student to say right will get the points again. So everyone says eat ice cream, and rinse and repeat. So again, it's just a way for them to learn the 2 words left and right, and again drill the vocabulary, recognize it, read the words. They need to actually read it, right, and see what it is. So it's just a great little activity for them. Sorry, it sounds like they're doing construction. Perfect timing for my video. They're doing some sort of renovation. I'm not sure if it's not right next door, but it's probably upstairs. Good. Pick apples. So again, it's just a fun way to get them to learn the word left and right, and also review the vocabulary they just learned, practice reading it, recognizing it quickly. And yeah, like I said, in my class, I try to design things with that goal in mind. Like they can drill the new words, hopefully also learn something else new in the game. All right, so next part, we're going to present the question. So I will show them it written in their first language and see if any students know how to say it in English. If they don't, you can just show them. All right, so what can you do in autumn? You can teach actions for this as well. And then see if they can figure out, okay, which one of these two can you do in autumn? Now, obviously, they're kind of they're put in order here, so they'll probably figure that out. But again, we're not really testing whether or not they can recognize which activities go in each season, because, I mean, that's good, but that's not the main objective. The main objective is, can they say them in English? Okay, so I don't want them to be debating or thinking too hard about which ones go in which season, right? They understand what the seasons are in their first language, the concept of seasons. So it shouldn't be that difficult, and we did it in the first lesson anyway, and probably the review lesson as well. So here, you can call on a student to see if they can fill in the blanks. I can and fly a kite and pick apples in autumn. And you can do actions, right? I can fly a kite and pick apples in autumn, whatever the actions you have for each word. You can drill it. I would drill it with the whole class, obviously, get them to say it. You can drill it by row. There's tons of ways you can drill. So go through each one. What can you do in spring? I can ride a bike and plant flowers in spring. What can you do in summer? I can go swimming and eat ice cream in summer. And what can you do in winter? I can build a snowman and go sledding in winter. Okay? And then we go on into the next game, which is a game where they need to say the season first, and then we'll practice the little dialogue. So one of the flashcards pop up. They should quickly say the season, summer. Whoever says it first can get a point for their team or 2 points. So again, this is where they're recognizing quickly which one goes which season. Then I'll have the whole class say, what can you do in summer? And they say, I can go swimming in summer. Good job. What you can do for this is you can, let's say, okay, go sledding. A student on one of the teams screams out winter. You can have their team stand up and say, what can you do in winter? And then their whole team says, I can go sledding in winter. Okay, there's a bunch of ways you could do this. I try to set this up so it was more, there's a lot of different ways you could run this game. But this is how I would do it, right? They call out the season. Then you have that team stand up. Good job. They get points. They're excited about the points. Then they have to all ask the question, what can you do in spring? And then, they say, I can ride a bike in spring. Or what you can do is, in my class, they're in like, each team is like a row of girls and a row of boys. And so like, let's say they scream out summer. Okay, they stand up. I say, girls, ask the boys. The girls say, what can you do in summer? And then the boys right next to them are like, I can eat ice cream in summer. Okay, so just one way you could do it, but there's a ton of ways. So as you saw there was flashcards and also the words, so it's kind of mixing back and forth between the two. So they have to read it and also they have to just recognize it. All right, so let's go on to the next part. Okay, so the next game is called the Read, Listen, and Think game, and I believe I have a video of this game on my channel. I'll have to find it and set a link for you up above if you want to check it out. Bring up 1 or 2 students from each team and have them come to the front and face the class so they can't see the board. And then call in another student, and they will stand in the middle of the room, and they need to read the description of the season. Okay, so they will read it. They will say, I can build a snowman and go sledding in this season. Which season is it? Now, you could have the whole class read it, but it's going to be really hard for the students in the front to understand if you do that. So you could have 2 students read at the same time if you think that might work, but I just like to do it with 1 student. The first student to realize what the season is and say the season will get a point or 2 points. And then you can walk over and say, after they say winter, you say, what can you do in winter? And then they should try to say it again. They can look at the board if you want to make it easier. They just say, I can build a snowman in winter, or I can build a snowman and go sledding in winter, whatever you want. You can ask all 4 students just to get them some extra practice. Then you can ask the class if you like, and then have those students sit down, bring up more students, 4 students, 1 student from each team, put them in the front, have them face the class, call another student to read, and rinse and repeat. Okay, so it's a great game for, the whole class is watching it, the whole class is looking at it and thinking of what the season is. The 1 student's practicing reading, and the other students are listening. So it's really a listening activity for them, and they need to realize what it must be and connect the dots and then say it quickly. Okay, so it's a fun game. The kids really like it, and obviously you can see how I mixed it up. So this is language from the last class, not the activities, but how the weather is in that season. So it's just it's a fun game. The kids really like it, and I've played this I think 3 times with my grade 2s this year, and every time I presented, they really like it. It's always surprising which games they really enjoy. You know, sometimes you make a game, spend hours creating it, and they don't really like it, but then something simple like that works really well. All right, so the next game is a dialogue game. It's a fill in the blanks activity. So call on 1 or 2 students from each team, and they should stand up at their seats or come to the front, and they need to perform the dialogue, filling in the blanks for this is the language from the previous lesson and the current lesson. Okay, so it's a full on, you know, part 1 and part 2 comprehensive dialogue from both lessons. So after they complete the dialogue, they can choose up to 3 of the mystery boxes or the question mark boxes. So they choose, okay, I want this one, and this one, and you can see that they can lose points or get points. Okay, so luck of the draw. You can actually tell them they can choose 1, choose 2, or choose 3. So the more they choose, the more opportunities there are for them to lose points and get points. So it's fun, and you know, rinse and repeat for the next teams. And I have moved around where the points are. Oops, sorry about that. I have moved around where the points are and where the bombs are. Okay, so it's going to be unpredictable for them. And yeah, rinse and repeat for each one. And yeah, it's basic, but it's fun. And kids in grade 2, grade 3 absolutely love this sort of activity. They like the gamble of choosing, you know, whatever you like it. So at the end of the lesson, I have a review here. And this review can be cut and pasted and put in all future lessons until you feel like they've mastered the language. So you bring up 2 students. I want to say, so I like to put these reviews at the end just in case there is extra time at the end of the lesson. Honestly, I rarely ever get to them, because it's just I've timed it pretty well that I don't really need it. But I like to have it there just in case. And if I'm going to be selling this lesson, I want to make sure you guys have it. Some of you may be teaching hour-long classes. My classes are 40 minutes, sometimes only 35, so I rarely get to these, but I like to prepare them the week that I'm doing it just in case, and also I cut and paste them into my future lessons as the review. Okay, so how's the weather in, they choose the season, how's the weather in autumn? The student says, it's cool and windy in autumn. You can click on autumn, it takes them to the next slide. What can you do in autumn? I can, and they should fill in the blank. What can they do? I can fly a kite and pick apples in autumn, and then you click back, it takes them back to the original screen. Bring up more students. How's the weather in summer? Oh, it's very hot and humid in summer. Click here, takes them to this slide. Continue the dialogue. What can you do in spring? I can fly a kite and not fly a kite, ride a bike and plant flowers in spring. And yeah, that fills in the blank there, and they go back and so on. So each one is linked, so it's very easy to run and just a great way for them to review. If you want, when you're reviewing, you can have a die ready so they can roll the die or whatever you have to do to make them more excited about the language. But yeah, that's just the way I like to run the class. I don't necessarily need to have them roll the die. Sometimes I feel like it's a waste of time because it takes them time to roll the die, and I just want them to practice the English. But you know your students better than I know your students. My students in grade 2 don't need to roll the die every single time they play, and they don't expect to. And I think that's key. They don't expect to. And if they expected to, maybe they would, if I didn't do it, they'd be upset or something. But they don't expect that from me, so I just have them perform the dialogue, praise them, maybe give them a point or 2, no die roll, and then that's it. And that's the whole lesson. That's part 2 for the season's lesson. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Yeah. All right, that's the end of the run through. I really hope you enjoyed that. Like I said before, if you want to download this lesson, don't forget there's a link in the video description below. Just click that link and you can download it, or you can go to my Taobao store and you can find this lesson and the previous lesson. Also, you can buy them together in a combo deal if you like. All right, well, I really hope you guys like that. Please smash the like button, subscribe to my channel if you're not already, leave a comment, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.